They say that money talks, and money certainly gets people talking, especially in the Vatican. There's been a lot of talk recently over a new legal amendment in the Vatican aimed at increasing financial accountability and combating corruption inside the church. The changes to church law are laid out in a declaration called a motu proprio, literally meaning at the Pope's own initiative, and are signed by Pope Francis.
La corrupción es algo que se nos mete adentro. Es como el azúcar, es dulce, nos gusta, es fácil y después terminamos mal.
Basically, the new motu proprio confirms that everyone is equal before the law, including cardinals and bishops. Until now, charges brought against cardinals and bishops inside Vatican City State were heard in a special Vatican court, with another 3 cardinals presiding. That privilege is now null and void. Henceforth, members of the church hierarchy will be judged in a Vatican civil court, just like any other individual accused of breaking the law in Vatican City State. But how urgent and important is this latest reform? For one thing, it directly affects a trial the Vatican described a while ago as being imminent. It concerns the case of Italian Cardinal Cardinal Becciu, former substitute or chief of staff of the Vatican Secretariat of State and prefect of the Congregation for the Causes of Saints, until the Pope asked him to resign last year. He retains the title of cardinal, but has to renounce all responsibilities associated with it, including the right to vote in the next conclave. Cardinal Becciu has not been charged officially with committing a crime. However, during a press conference the day after his resignation, he did say he was being accused of embezzlement and misappropriation of Vatican funds, both of which he denies.
Io sono pronto, se vogliono.
I am available. If you want me to clarify something, I'll clarify it. Especially now that, since the Pope has taken away my rights as a cardinal, there is no need for me to be judged by the Pope alone. According to canon law, I should be judged by the Pope, or by those he delegates. Usually there are 2 or 3 cardinals. Therefore, I am a citizen like everyone else. I am at his disposal.
Cardinal Becciu is not the only one at the Pope's disposal, nor is he the only one to feel the effects of the changes in Vatican legislation. Under the new anti-corruption rules, all Vatican officials will have to declare they have no financial dealings with companies whose interests conflict with Catholic doctrine, anything from abortion to arms manufacturing. Likewise, anyone involved in managing Vatican funds will have to ensure that investments don't end up in tax havens. In addition, no Vatican employee may accept a work-related gift worth over $50. No one with a little ethical or common sense should find any of the above particularly earth-shattering. And yet, it was precisely the absence of these rules that led to a series of financial malpractices that in turn led to the misuse and loss of several $1 million. Investigators are still trying to determine exactly who signed off on the Vatican's failed investment in a London property back in 2014, when Cardinal Becciu still held the second highest ranking position in the Vatican after the Pope, and how it could have happened in the first place. The $400 million real estate venture allegedly drew on money from a special fund known as Peter's Pence, which is meant to be used at the Pope's discretion and mainly for works of charity. The Italian financier, who acted as an intermediary in the operation, is currently under investigation. He supposedly made a profit of $18 million for his part in the deal. Another person Vatican prosecutors want to question about her role in the dubious distribution of Vatican funds is a former associate of Cardinal Becciu and fellow Sardinian. She acknowledges receiving some $600,000 for what she calls security operations to protect Vatican embassies in critical areas and to rescue kidnapped missionaries. She was arrested last year when the Vatican requested her extradition from Italy, a request it later withdrew, pending her giving testimony at the trial when it happens. Meanwhile, the Sardinian connection continues to be part of the problem for Cardinal Becciu and for members of his family.
Quando ero sostituto,
The Pope said that when I was substitute at the Secretariat of State, I authorized the donation of 100,000 euros to the Caritas of Oziero in Sardinia, and that those 100,000 euros would be transferred to a cooperative run by my brother. In other words, that I used those funds for a different purpose in order to favor my brother.
Oziero in Sardinia is Cardinal Becciu's home diocese. The local Caritas assists mainly poor people and migrants. The Cardinal is known to have authorized the transfer of $116,000 to Caritas via an affiliated cooperative, of which his brother is president. That's what prompted the accusation of embezzlement and favoring a family member. Again, Cardinal Becciu denies any wrongdoing. It's important to state that a judicial investigation is still ongoing, that Cardinal Becciu is yet to be indicted, and that he will doubtless have the opportunity to clarify his position when he does eventually testify before the newly reformed Vatican Tribunal. Until that happens, it appears that he and Pope Francis continue to talk and to pray together. On Thursday of Holy Week, they celebrated the Mass of the Lord's Supper in the Cardinal's Vatican apartment. It was a pastoral gesture on the part of the Pope, despite some attempts to pass it off as a papal pardon. The reality is that it will be the Vatican judges and not a group of fellow cardinals who will have the last word in this trial, for which no date has yet been set. The only thing we do know at this stage is that it's imminent. But then again, in the Vatican, time is calculated differently from anywhere else.